I went with so much motivation and enthusiasm that I want to do something really nice
Yeah.
for, like the standard of the governor, right? So I
Yeah.
did that. I When I finished it, I realized that that guy collected close to like 2 million for that work.
Yay. You, the closest person to the client, is the one making the most. Hello, guys. My name is Cotton Toby. I'm a senior art director, currently working with Dental Creative. And here today, I have with me Kingsley, who is an art director working with Dot Media House. Welcome, Kingsley, guys. Welcome to the show. It's so nice to have you
Thank
here.
you so much.
It's so nice to have you here. And for people who, definitely now they know your name, but they don't really know what you do in depth and who you are. Can you just do a brief introduction about yourself and take it from there?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Toby. As we all know, my name is Gbadebo Abiodun Kingsley, right? But I'm popularly called Kingsley. So I started my creative journey as an art director. I'm currently working as an art director at Dot Media House. But
Okay.
I started my creative journey as just a graphic designer, right? I've
Yeah.
always been particular about big things. I want to do big things, and I think that's one of those things that even drew me into this industry, where I know that before I'm able to like do big things, I need to roll with people in that space. I need to be able to say that, I'm part of the brainstorming team. Basically, it's not just you being a designer and then just trying to run the shit on your own, right? So,
Yeah.
so for me, I've always been interested in the big things. Um, Started as a graphic designer, then improved, started adding skills, relevant skills that would, set me up to be an art director, basically, right? And that involved me learning some of those skills like, photography,
Yeah.
motion graphics, video editing, and obviously graphic design, right? Just
Yeah.
understanding combination, layout, and all those things are some of the things that I know that this role requires, and that's one of the reasons why I've been able to set myself up to be where I am right now, and I'm grateful that I'm also part of the team that is also creating impact in the industry at the moment. So yeah, I'm happy
I
to
mean
be
that
here.
is that is very good, man. That is very good. It's always very, very exciting when you see someone who is doing well in the industry,
Yeah,
and not only doing well, but has a vision for his or herself,
yeah,
and he or she know where he or she is going, and actively building, actively learning,
yeah.
actively doing great works. I mean, which is good. And
Like
there's a
you.
point. There's a point you thought, right? You
Yeah,
talked about rolling with people, right?
yeah.
Rolling with like the big boys, the big girls in the industry.
Of
Okay,
course.
because the truth is, in my own career path, that has really helped me. Like when I
Yeah,
worked with Joshua Rebele, right? He was
yeah.
my creative director when I got into
Mm,
advertising.
mm.
And
Yeah,
rolling with him opened my mind to a lot of things,
yeah,
right? Opened my mind to how to negotiate,
yeah.
how
Mm,
to keep your confidence, how to promote yourself. Because the
of
truth is,
course.
nobody will promote you if you don't promote yourself first.
I swear.
If you don't
That's the
put
truth.
yourself out there, nobody will
Yeah,
promote you. Right?
yeah, yeah.
And then, so many other things to the point that till this day, if I need anything in
Mm,
an aspect that I know that, yeah, he's an expert in, I'll run to
mm,
him first before I
mm,
take that decision because I
mm.
know
Yeah.
that he has done so many things. He has made some mistakes. He has learned from it. He
Mm,
has he has more experience than I have,
of course.
and
Yeah.
that will really help me. So when you say this, for you, which people did you move with or did you roll with? I mean, there are still a lot more people for me,
Of
but
course.
for you, which people did you
Yeah.
like get in contact
So
with, get
I'm
their
just going
energy?
to say, thank you very much. So what I'm going to say here is, I think I'm privileged, right?
Yeah,
So I've had someone as a mentor, somebody that you can look forward to and say that, okay, this is that actually the person who spoon fed you, who who
Yeah.
held your hands when you didn't know anything about the industry. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm going to just mention just one name, and that's Ayo Ishola, right? Ayo
Yes.
Ishola actually like skyrocketed my own development, my own personal development, right?
Yeah.
Working with somebody like him, it's not just only about design, right? Is
Yeah.
your attitude, your vibe, your
Yeah.
charisma. So it's not
Yeah.
just about knowing how to do design and doing great creative works, right? You need to be able to sell your idea as well, and that's one of those things I've really learned from Ayo Shola, right?
Yeah.
um it's either you do it well or you don't do it at all. That's like
Oh,
his
yeah.
own
Yeah.
that's like his own mantra. Is that you
Yeah.
do it well or you don't even touch it at all. And that's one of those mentalities I carry to every project I want to do, right? I want to
Yeah.
make sure that whatever it is I'm doing is
Yeah.
worth it at the end of the day. I'm not just going there to go and do child play. I mean, I've done a lot of child play when I was learning design and all of that, replicating flyer, replicating designs and all that stuff. Those were
Yeah.
those were child's play, and this is real business, especially in this industry. If you
Yeah.
really want to create something nice, right? You can't just go there with nothing. You can't go there with a mentality of let's see how it goes. You need to be sure of what you want to do before you even start it
Yeah.
at all,
Yeah.
right? And my exposure
Yeah.
to my early exposure to some of all these big brands. Okay, yeah. So for me, one of those things that I actually enjoyed having somebody like Ayo Shola as like my mentor. He was
Yeah.
the creative director. He's the creative director at Dot Media House, right? And I enjoyed um, working on top brands because he also gave me that opportunity and that privilege, right? To be able
Yeah.
to say, okay, you know what, Kingsley, I need you to contribute. Just do the billboard, do the motion graphics for the billboard, or just do the color grading for the video, or or just make sure you are getting the right picture out. All those things, all those little contributions also like give me early exposure to some of all these brands, right? I was
Yeah.
mentioning Cheaper Cash, I was mentioning Oraimo, I was mentioning um Adidas, and like I think the biggest of all is even Trend Up, right? Because a lot of work
Yeah.
always goes into Trend Up awards every year, and I'm glad that I'm also leading the team there, and we're able to create something really nice every year, right? And that's one of those things I'm truly grateful for. The fact that I have a mentor that I can look up to say that no, when I'm making mistakes or when I'm going the wrong path, is able to say, "Oh Benny, this is what you should do." You get. I think that's such a privilege. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
really,
yeah,
really like
yeah,
having someone in your corner that can always set you straight. I mean, at first it might not, it might come off at first, right? It might come off as, is this person asked me, is this, is this that? But it's just like you're going through a refining process. And at the end of
exactly,
the day, when you are shining out there, you will not even remember all the
exactly.
things you had to go through. What you
Honestly,
focus on and what everybody will actually see is, oh, this guy is blowing. This guy did something, he won an award. This
exactly,
you know,
exactly, man.
they will celebrate you. My guy. Even people that have not texted you in like maybe 6 months, they'll be like, they will post you, right? You will enjoy those things when everything is happening. But
Network.
when you are going through the refining process, it's a bit hard. And
Yeah.
the truth is, what I'll just tell people is don't stop, don't quit, don't hate that person,
Mm,
because there
mm,
are sometimes I would say it's like tough love, right?
mm.
For you to actually, get that thing done, you can do it. Tap
Yeah.
into. Let me tell you an example. There was a day I wanted to do a brand identity design, a personal
Yeah.
brand identity design for
Yeah.
someone, and I kept on looking online, gathering ideas,
Get
sketching,
inspiration.
but I just noticed that this thing is not there yet. You get, and then the person I
Yeah.
was working with at that time too was like, it's not there yet. Like,
Benny,
let's
it's not.
let's
It's not
let
it.
just think more, right?
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at other things, think more, do it more. Do you know that I spent like 3 days,
Yeah.
like Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I feel you.
I'm
I feel you.
I'm sketching. I'm sketching. And the sketch says, so, trust me, for some people, they'll be like, oh, I like this logo.
Yeah.
I was sketching for 3 days. It's on that
Omo,
Sunday. I was in church. I was in my sketch. I was like, I was listening to preacher. I was sketching. Then when I now sketch one particular one, whereby it's D and O, right? And
yeah,
then I sketch the D and O to morph it in a way that if you turn it 45 degrees, it looks like the silhouette of a person. You get. Then
yeah.
when I did that, I was now like, Omo is like, it's like this is it, right? It's like this is it.
Oh,
I took a picture, I sent to him. He was like, fantastic. I like this and that. I was like, okay, oh, thank God, oh. Thank
but
God, oh.
you knew what you had to go through now before you're able
Well,
to
I
get
went
that.
through what I went through it. I went through it, and that is to say, sometimes creativity should not be rushed, but it does not mean
Exactly,
you should not be doing it. Because some
exactly.
people sometimes think creativity should not be rushed. Let me go and rest. Let me go and watch TikTok. Let me go and watch Instagram reel. No, no, no. It is
It
you
doesn't work
actively
that way.
working on it, not rushing, and
Exactly.
then getting yourself to that point where you get that thing you have been looking for. So,
Honestly,
so all
just,
these things.
just just to add to that, just to add to
Yeah,
what you are saying, right?
yeah,
I remember when one of the things that stands out in most of the design assets you see out there.
yeah,
You want to look at image research, and I feel like people don't talk about the research you do behind the
yeah,
scene often, especially for creatives. Like Ayoshola will say, like don't use the first image you see on on the internet. Like you have to do your research, you have to look, like make sure that the option you are settling with is remarkable. Do you understand? You can't just do a lazy work to say that and the first idea that came to my mind is the one I'm executing. No, that might eventually be your best idea, but you have to still do the work of checking other things to know that, okay, this first one I have, is this the best? At the end of the day,
yeah,
don't just go and do the lazy work that, oh, you've gotten it and you've gotten it, just move on. No, you have to actually put in the work to make sure that
yeah,
whatever it is that you're putting out there, or whatever it is you are settling with at the end of the day, makes so much sense that people will be able to know that, omo, there's so much thinking or there's so much work behind the scene before you can see this kind
yeah.
of work at the end of the
Yeah,
day. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, that is very good. And
yeah,
I would say, right, that one of the reasons why he's telling you that is because he's also a photographer. And,
yeah.
photographers, before they will
Guy.
tell them to take 500 images and let them select, right, they will
Bro,
go deep into it and be like, okay, I took this picture 4 times, but
yeah.
this third one, there's something about it that's different from the other three.
You
You
get.
understand? So
Yes.
you know that, yes, so let me use this one. This one, there's something about this picture, right?
Yeah,
So they won't
yeah.
just settle for the
Settle for
first one.
just any image. Exactly.
It's really good,
Exactly.
right? Okay, now let's talk about, because we're talking about the creative industry, right? Is it
Yeah.
worth it? Let's talk
Mm,
about when you first started, right? When
yeah.
you got into this industry, because
Yeah.
some people, they get into the industry, they work with some type of people, maybe they didn't
Yeah.
have a good
Good
experience, or
experience.
the money they started with. This, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I can say that the first money they ever paid me. See, like working as a designer, right?
Almost.
Like, I'm a designer. I do design. Oh, I think it
Yeah.
was a logo design, right? It was a logo design, and it was 3-5.
God, I beg.
It was three
Almost.
five. I see. I can never forget, because that was the first day someone paid me that help
We
me
have.
do a logo, and I will pay you. I didn't even negotiate money. Me, I was like, let me do the thing. This person should like it.
Yeah.
And then when the person said you pay, 3-5, I was happy. I mean, at that point, right? I was like,
Yeah.
someone paid for my work. You get like,
Exactly.
okay, how much was the first money you ever collected? What kind of design? What kind of design was
Almost. Let me just take it from the first freelance work I did, right?
Yeah,
I don't want to count all the days in school, back in school, when I just started designing, and somebody would pay me 1,000 naira for a flyer, somebody would pay me 500 naira, and those days I was celebrating like,
as
yes,
in you
you
design.
know. I mean, and I think it's very, very normal, right? For
Yeah,
when you are just starting. and you're trying to cultivate a skill that can fetch you money, right?
Yeah.
It's just like a seed. And at the seed state, when your first plant comes up,
Yeah.
and the first fruit might not even be something that big, but the fact that that thing is even bringing fruit is
Yeah.
the joy that actually counts, right?
Joy. The
I
joy.
mean, my first money then was like, I think 1,000 naira. Or I think I was even negotiating. I was like, I'll collect 1,500. And in my mind, I was thinking I was negotiating like 1,500 naira, bro. And that person said, "Oh, don't worry, I can't do 1,500. I'll pay 1,000 naira." And I was like, "Yes, this is such a win, you know." And I took it then, and in all honesty, too, like by the time I go back to check those flyers, I'm always like, kilele. You get.
Yeah.
So I think what I'm just going to reference was the first time I started working on. I think I started freelancing on Fiverr, and I think that was like the first dollar I was going to make. That was $10. So the person reached out to me, gave me like
Yeah.
some photo manipulation task like that on Photoshop. Of
Yeah.
course, I have not really gotten my hands on what photo manipulation is all about, but of course, I
Yeah.
know some tools that I could use to achieve some results.
Yeah.
So I did it, and the person said, "Trust me, like the work is trash," because every time I go back to it, I was like, kilele. But the guy was also celebrating it, like, "Oh man, this is so nice! Like, you're the best designer in the world." I can still remember the
Full
review
time
the guy
dollars.
gave. Like, the guy gave me a review, and I was like, "Yes!" And the fact that it was also $10, I was just
Mm.
like, "No, I'm making it in
You
this
don't collect,
industry."
you don't blow. You buy Benz. $10. They
Oh,
pay
yes,
$2.
right there. So I think it's very, very natural to feel that way when that was your first time of like um getting paid from a skill you cultivated, especially when you don't know anything about it before.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're just trying to like make something out of it. You get. So
Yeah.
that's the idea for me. Then growing in the industry, of course, the kind of people you roll with at the end of the day too would also determine your exposure in terms of what you
Yes.
think you should be earning, what you think you
Yeah.
should be charging.
Yeah.
As at that time, one of those things that actually increased my price rating before I started saying, "Oh, for one flyer, I'm going to be charging you 2,000 naira now, no longer 500. I'm going to be charging you 5,000 naira now. I'm going to be charging you 10,000 naira now." All those things are all influenced by a certain level of exposure, maybe with
Yeah.
your friends, maybe people in the industry as well that are doing similar things you are doing. Guy, how much are you charging for this thing?
Yeah.
Guy, almost 50K I dey collect. Oh, yeah,
As
50K when I dey charge 5,000 naira.
50K.
Understand? And then you now have to go and sit down, reflect, and be honest with yourself. The quality
Yeah.
of the work that person is putting out there to charge that amount, is that the
Yeah.
same level of work that you're also putting out there? You have to be honest with yourself. Like, even if
Yeah.
you're lying to everybody, I
Yeah.
mean, you can't lie to yourself. You now look at it that, like, my work is even better than this guy's work now. I need to increase my rate,
Yeah.
You understand? So
Yeah.
that way, by the time you come out of your self-reflection, you now find out that, okay, I think it's fair for me when people pay me this amount of money because of the level
Yeah.
of work I'm pushing out there, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to get to a stage, especially for me now, there are some work that it is not even about pride now. Like, there's some work that I know that once it comes, this is just going to waste my time. I'm so sorry.
That's it, man.
And there's some work that would come and I'll be like, even if you're not paying me much, I beg, make I do this thing.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Because you know what you're going to be getting. It's not only money you get from a particular project. Sometimes it's going to be exposure, right? Let me just reference the first magazine I did. The first magazine I would ever do in my career was for I think it was during my NYSC, for the governor of Sokoto's son. Governor of Sokoto's son's wedding.
Okay.
So they needed to do like a magazine for it and all of that. So I had like one of my guys that had a link. He said he has a designer, and as at that time I've not done anything like that before.
Wow.
I just came, was like, na governor be this, na governor work. As at that time, of course, I needed money, right? I think that guy paid me like, I think 100K then, and that 100K was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like, that 100K was a lot of money. Like, I was like, 100K, I go run this thing. And I did it. Of course, that was my first shot at it, but I went with so much motivation and enthusiasm that I want to do something really nice
Yeah,
for, I mean, like the standard of the governor, right? So I
yeah.
did that. I When I finished it, I realized that that guy collected close to like 2 million for that work.
Yay!
I swear. And like it was so
So did the
crazy.
corporate street.
I didn't know whether to
So did
feel
the
bad
corporate
because I was already excited. I didn't know whether to feel bad for that money because I already felt excited for the 100K that he gave me. Bro, I was just like, okay, but I didn't feel bad at the end of the day because in my mind I already keyed into the exposure that I'm going to get doing
Yeah,
that kind of
yeah,
project. And then as at that time, of course, I won't even lie, the money was also like
yeah.
enticing to me as far as I'm concerned. So I just
Yes,
it was just like a good business move for the guy. He gave me the feeling I need to get, and he made
yeah.
the money out of it.
And
So yeah, so you're always getting. Go ahead.
yeah, sorry to cut you. There's one significant thing, right, that the guy did. Yeah, what he did. Some people will say, "Oh, that's bad. That's you can
Yeah,
just give him 100K like that and everything."
of
I mean,
course,
definitely, you guys might even have negotiated, and you will be like,
of
"Oh, this is
course.
the price I'm going to collect for this thing, right?"
Trust me.
And then he
Yeah,
pays you. See, when
yeah,
it comes to things like that, it is not a bad thing because it just showed you how, let's say, a company or someone,
yeah.
because they tell you the closest person to the client is the one making the most. You get
Exactly,
closest person to the client is the one making the most. If you are working
exactly,
for a company, you cannot make more than what the company is making. They are going to negotiate with
exactly,
you and pay you the amount you have agreed to collect. So if the company go
exactly.
and collect $10 billion from the client and you
None of
say
your
that the
business.
money is 500K, they will pay you your 500K and then they will
Exactly.
keep their money. That's the thing it just showed you at a very early stage, right? Back then,
Exactly, man.
you work with people now, and back then I'll be like, how will you? Okay, now you see that this thing is like 3.5 million naira, and you come and meet me,
Yeah,
and you're paying me 150K for this thing, and you just pocket. It might look like this person is wicked, but no, this
yeah.
person has a level of knowledge that you did not have back then.
You do not have exactly.
And then this person was able, to work with you. And a lot of people still do it till today. They get
Of
people to work
course.
with them. Oh, I need you to work with me as a freelancer. I have some clients. They will negotiate with
Yeah,
you. You get. Then they'll go and meet their clients and be like, okay, oh, this thing is going to cost X and X amount of money. The client will pay, and
exactly.
then they'll pay your money and move on.
And you'll be
One
happy.
thing, one thing you can now do, right, is number one. I feel like building yourself, building your skill, and
Mm.
then building your brand. Because nowadays, your brand matters a lot. Nowadays,
Honestly,
brand matters a
honestly,
lot. When you build your brand to a point whereby people see you as an expert in your industry, you're an
your
expert, they see
field.
you as a
Yeah,
thought leader, they see you as someone who is creative and is actively learning, growing, doing great work, then you'll be able to say, this thing is going to cost 5 million naira, and then you will not flinch.
exactly,
And then they too will be like, okay,
exactly.
for me to actually get this person to work on this project, this is the price it will
On this,
cost.
yeah,
And with what you've done in the past,
exactly.
with your track record, and how your brand is perceived, I can
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
afford this money. Oh yeah, let's work together. Because like I used to
exactly.
say, Ayoshola told me that let the only thing that will make people not work with you be that they cannot afford you, not that you cannot
Mm.
get the job done.
Cannot deliver. Yes, yes, yes.
And
It says that a lot.
sometimes you might not even be the one that will execute the project because you might have
Mm.
something else you are working with, but you have
Yeah,
someone who is like,
on your
let's say,
team.
on your team, but not you have like freelancers you work with, and you just take the project. You
Mm.
are the one the client knows. The client does not know this other
Yeah,
person, right? And then you go and meet this
yeah,
person. Oh, okay, this is the price I have. I want you to work on this thing for me.
exactly,
You will still actively supervise, and because you are taking most of the risk, whether you are doing the work or
exactly,
not, you are the one taking most of the risk. So
exactly.
definitely, things like this, it's bound to happen in the industry. And when you really understand yourself
And if you want
and
to
manage
even make
the
money
risk,
in the
you're
industry,
definitely
man,
better.
if you want to make money in the industry, you have to develop like business intellect as good as
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Because you can't just be people who make money are not the people who actually do the work, right?
Yes. Yeah.
It is people who actually negotiate the contract, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. For us to make money in this industry, you guys be
You have to
sharp. Oh.
think like a businessman. My first boss, right?
Exactly.
My first boss,
Yeah.
Mr. Yomi Sefri, and I mean, God bless him.
Yeah.
Today, right? He told me something back then. I was working as a photographer. He said, "You are first
Yeah.
a businessman before you're a photographer." That's what he told me, right? You are first a businessman. Then now I've taken this thing into every other thing I'm doing. Anything I want to do as design, I'm first a businessman before I'm a designer. I'm first a businessman before I'm a motion designer. I'm first a businessman
Exactly.
before I'm an art director. You understand?
Exactly.
So when people come to meet me, I don't think based off of, oh, let me do this thing and pricing. Maybe you just this will just cost 100,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people the money looks big, but if you look at it, okay, let's say you collect 100,000 for a design, right? Let's say it will take you 8 hours to do the design, and then let's say, for example, right? Okay, they are selling fuel for 1,000 naira per liter. Let's say for 1,000 naira per liter. There's
Yeah.
no light. It will take you 8 hours to work on it in a day,
Yeah.
and you use like maybe 4 to 5 days. You get
Yeah.
to do it. If you calculate 1,000 naira for 8 hours that you spend on fuel times 4 to 5 days, you will see that the amount of money you spent from that money you collected first.
Exactly.
On fuel,
Yes.
on fuel. It is
Oh.
money. You are not even talking about, okay, you are going to pay for a platform. Let's say free
Yeah.
pick. Let's just say
Subscription.
free pick. For example, you are subscribing to free pick. From that money, you are paying, let's say, 20K for free pick. That one
Bro.
is gone. You understand? Then the time you use to do it, I mean, you will eat from the money, you will do this. If you start looking at it like that, you start seeing that, this 100,000 I'm just calling, I'm just playing.
You're just playing, I swear.
The truth is, if you're working with agencies, right?
Yeah.
For an agency to cost for, let's say, an art director, they will cost for your time, they will cost for you sitting, the sitting of an art director.
Yeah.
They will cost for it, the laptop you use to do
Exactly.
the work, every other thing. They will cost for all those things. They will give the client. They will not come and meet you and be like, okay, how much do you want to collect?
You don't know, you go suffer. I swear.
And this thing, I mean, I learned most of this, negotiating how to bill and everything from Joseph Billing, right? Because he's the one that made me understand these things. That see, they will come for all these things and they will come and meet you. So you will not come and say, some people, especially in this our industry, this advertising industry, they do it based on vibes and inshallah and be like,
yes, nah.
they collect 250K, I be big boy. You see that Nike Air Force One, I go buy them, and they'll buy it. Right? And
exactly
the funniest part is, there's nobody, even the HR you are negotiating with when you are coming in, will not let you know that people that are in this role in this company, this is what they earn. Why are you negotiating like this? But they want to save money for the they want to save money for the agency. So definitely, we can get this level of skill, and you want to collect this price.
Exactly.
Come and do the work. And
have to be like,
there's no way you will not do the work. You will definitely do the work. It's the same amount of work they expect from those people, they will expect from you. You will do the work, and you must be good at it, and you will not do anyhow. It's none of your business.
So that part of the HR is always wanting to make money for the company. Is none of your business as a creative, right? Because you have to be the one to know your worth. You have to be the one to say that this is what I want to charge. This is what I want to collect. like you see, is it not the same role? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? So, and I think that's something like that, something as innovative as that should be promoted in the industry so that everybody like
Yeah,
knows
knowledge.
exactly what is going on in the industry. And again too, like there are so many other things that also like affects like how people negotiate for whatever it is they want. One of it
As in,
is knowledge. Like
as
if
yeah,
you don't know, you don't know. That's why you'll be celebrating that, oh, you are collecting 200K and you're like, ah, guy, I'm a big boy. When somebody is just collecting 1.5 million soft for that same role, do you understand? So knowledge first, then exposure as well. Like, for instance, this conversation we are having now, like you
yeah,
might even have the knowledge, but
yeah,
like you don't know how to go around it. You don't know, okay, let's
yeah,
say you
yeah,
want to renegotiate, or let's say you get the next job and you want to negotiate. Like, how do you even approach the negotiation without sounding rude or without sounding in a way that would
yeah,
just piss them off,
yes,
right? You know what you want, you know the value you are bringing on
yes,
on the desk, and you need to
yes,
know how to like communicate that in a way that is also going to be received in a good way. Do you understand? So that way we are all informed, and then we are making informed decision in whatever negotiating process we find ourselves, even with negotiation with clients, not even agency or any workplace. Ordinary
as
client
in,
that is approaching you to say,
yeah,
oh guy, I want to do brand identity, and in your mind maybe you've been charging say 100K before, and you just
yeah,
realize that one of your colleagues is charging like 800K. Do
yeah,
you understand? And the way you table it, and that's why I agree with you again when you said the way you brand yourself, the
yeah,
way you carry yourself, and that's one of those things that this guy really gave me as well. Ayoshola, your charisma when you enter the room, like what exactly would be the feeling that people would get? Like when you
yes,
open your mouth to start
yes,
talking, what is the feeling that people will get? Do people feel
yeah,
confident, or people will feel like we are doomed? Emma Onkoto, so do you get? But when you like,
as
and all
in,
these things, you have to improve on yourself, or you have to read, to research before you are able to say the right things. Because if you just go there and go and start saying rubbish, you just fumble and people will just be like,
yeah,
oh, don't worry, they will just nimu and tell you, get back to you, don't worry. Baba, they will never get back to you. So all those
yeah,
things put together, like you have to be conscious of it.
yes,
Self-development,
yeah,
making sure that you
yeah,
are like top of trend, like you also know what exactly is going on. You're able to make quick references to trending things so that they know that, oh no, this
yeah.
guy knows his
The
onions.
fact that you
You
accept, I
understand
also
what you
believe that
understand what I'm
give your
saying?
best,
So
when
all
it
those
comes,
things put
because your
together,
client
yeah,
will
one of
not,
those
they will not
information that will
say,
set you
oh,
up
I paid him
properly when
100K,
you want
that's
to
right.
negotiate for
They will say,
with either your
I
client
paid him
or
to
or
do
even
work
at
for
work.
me and he did not do it well.
Exactly.
They
So
will not,
yeah, that's
they will never mention, even if later
mm,
you are like, Omo, I gave him
exactly.
full, I even paid him before he
Yeah,
started, or I paid him
yeah,
before he started, and person did this.
yeah,
I've said it before now. There's a particular client that I
exactly.
wanted to work with last year,
I gave him
right?
full
No,
payments.
last 2 years, December. She wanted to do a brochure design, right?
Yeah,
And then she came and meet, because I read out to her on LinkedIn. She came up to meet me and she said, oh, she had worked with designers before, that she had problems with working with a lot of designers, this and that one. And you know me, I'm like,
yeah,
I am not the same as these designers. Like,
yeah,
check my portfolio, check my work, check the brands
mm,
I've worked on. You see Budweiser, you see Coca-Cola, you see
yeah.
Jack Daniels, you see Nivea. You know, I've worked with top clients. You see Netflix. I'm not like this guy. She said one day she had to go to the house of the
Yeah,
designer before he could do the
yeah,
job. And I'm like, how the clients come
yeah.
to your house to sit down with you before you get your job done? It's crazy. As in, it is crazy, right? But then we work together, and we work together to the point that a colleague in the office went on
No, no, no,
LinkedIn
no.
and
Those are
sent me a
clients from
message that thank you for the great job you did. We love it, the entire team. Like, when you
yeah,
do something good, that even the colleague went to look for you to thank you, they could see the level of work and everything, right? They could see the level of work.
wow,
But there was something about that
yeah,
project that I want to talk about, and this
yeah.
is a
You
lesson,
could
right?
see it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is a lesson, because at that time I just,
like,
I decided that I'm
yeah,
not going to
yeah,
do full time for agencies, and I want to do freelance, this and that. I didn't have like a contract then, and now when you leave your job, let's say in the middle of November,
yeah,
Christmas dey come o.
Yeah.
How I go take do am? You get, and you are new to this thing. But I did not just decide one day, you get,
Bro.
being new. I had read a book, right, on the
Omo,
freelance
you work with no
manifesto,
one collect
like
everyone. You go collect as a
talking
extra.
to motion designers, but you can still, adapt
I
to
get.
graphic design, motion design, and everything. You see, that's why you said knowledge is important.
Mhm.
I had read that book
Yeah.
like a year or 2 years before. I decided that okay, I'm no more working as
Yeah.
a full-time staff.
Yeah.
I'm now working as a freelancer. Now I took that knowledge and I'm like, you know what? He talked about how you reach out to people, how you do code calling, how you have a code messages to people here and there. And I tried it out and it
Yeah.
worked for me. That was how I got to Meta. You understand? That was how I got to Meta. And now back then, you need money, this and that. You're
Yeah.
just starting, you just need to
Yeah.
make money, this and that. And
Yeah.
she said she wants to. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
this is the price
Yeah.
I'll do it. She said, their budget is not up to this and that. But there's
Yeah.
another thing that made me do that work, right? Because the money, how much was the
Exactly.
money that she paid, right? But I wanted to show her the experience of a very good art director, of a very good designer. Because in her own judgment, every
Yeah.
designer she meets is not good.
Yeah.
So I wanted to give her that experience to the point that I will always
Yeah.
carry her along
Yeah.
with every step of the project, this and that. There was one day I told her, okay, I'll send this at 4 p.m.
Exactly.
And then I saw the time, 2 o'clock.
Change.
I'm
Yeah.
like, at 4, I'll not be able to deliver this, right? And she was in a meeting with Oga
Of
and her
course.
team. I texted her that I know I said I'll send this thing by 4. However, can we move it to 5 o'clock based on what I'm doing? And she said, oh,
Yeah.
okay, no problem, Toby. Later, she told me that I love your
Mm.
professionalism. I said, why? She said, the
Mm.
fact that the day you
Yeah.
told me and texted me that you won't be
Yeah.
able to deliver by 4 when we have agreed 4, and I should give you 1 hour. You know that I was my boss at that time when you said it. And I was just like, oh, he texted me and this is what he said. And they all agreed. So in a way, I'm showing them that there are professional guys out here that you can work with and you will get a very good experience. Other than some other guys that will not do you well, right? All those things together, all glory to God. The
Yeah.
project was a success. They used it and everything.
Exactly.
And so now, last year she reached out
Good
to
work.
me
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
wanted to do the same project.
Exactly.
And now I'm now like, okay, for me to work on this project, it's X and X amount. You get?
Yeah.
She then said,
Of course, nah.
their budget is not up to this,
You
this
don't
one,
get
that one.
leverage now.
That one.
Now for you.
See, now this is what I'm going to, and this is the lesson, right? This is what I'm going to. She now said, oh,
Yeah.
that the amount
Yeah.
they want to do it is the previous amount they paid the year before. You get that? Is that amount that I did it that they want to do it? Can you see? Because sometimes they say how you start with a particular client is how they will keep.
Yeah.
You understand? That's how they will keep going with you. Now, when she said that, I said, oh, sorry, I won't be
Yes.
able to work with this price range because I now explained to her that one of the reasons why I accepted them.
I agree. I agree
was
with you.
because I wanted to
Yeah.
work with you. I wanted you to see that my work is good. I can deliver this job and everything.
Exactly.
And everything turned out great, right? But I won't be able to work with this particular amount, and this amount that I've
Just
given
prove it
before I
points.
was able
Yeah.
to work with. At the end of the day, I didn't work on it. But one thing is certain.
Exactly.
Yeah, I worked on it, because I needed money, this and that, and I wanted to show her
Amount.
that there are professional people out there that do good work. Then now, she will know that
Yeah.
Toby did not work with Toby because we did not have Toby's budget.
Yeah.
get?
Yeah.
If we had worked with Toby, I know we deliver a good
Yeah.
job, but we didn't have his budget. That's why we did not work with him. And then everything just moves on like that. That is why when you are negotiating with a client, see, I tell
Exactly.
people, always put your price up. Do not
Yeah.
see
Yeah. Exactly.
some people say,
Exactly.
the way the country is, the economy.
Exactly.
Oga, the economy.
Mm.
The economy. People are buying car of 150 million naira. The economy.
Mm.
People are buying house of 250 million naira. The economy. Some people are collecting 5 million naira every month as salary. The economy. So you base your own mindset on, the economy is bad. Let me
Yes.
not price
No.
this person. Oga,
Yes. No.
you will still Gary. Gary will be your best friend. Because Gary will be, it is true, it will come in economy park. And you go there, so can they go. Because at the end of the day, the value you're giving, right? We can say, yeah,
Can you be your
it's
economic
creativity, right?
pack?
You cannot necessarily put a cap to how much you should collect. But with your experience,
I
how
say.
long you've been doing it, the value you give, how valuable it is to clients and all, you will
Mm.
you should make sure that your
Pay.
price is really
Exactly.
good. Because one question that I asked that woman that day is, how valuable is this thing
Yeah.
to you and your
Yeah.
team, and to the conference you want to use
Yeah.
it for? And she said, it's really valuable, that if we don't get this thing done, for the conference, this and that, if we don't get this thing done, it won't really be good. And I'm like, you see
Yeah.
that when you ask questions like this, you can see how valuable this thing is to the client. You understand, okay, this much value,
Yeah.
I can deliver this value to you, but this
Exactly.
is the amount of money it costs to deliver this value. And then when you now start negotiating, you don't negotiate
Then
like pepper
yeah.
seller, where you say is 1 million, they will not say is 300k. Yeah, you not say pay 750. They will not
That's
say,
going to
okay,
come.
let's make it 400. You not say,
Exactly.
you know what, let's just stay at 500. That's pepper seller negotiation. Because to me, you seem like a thief. How you go from 1 million to
It's
500?
500.
So that means you can even do it for the 350 that I said. But when you negotiate, like one thing just always tells me, when you
Yeah.
negotiate, give discounts in percentages, right? You can start with 5%, but don't ever go below 10%.
Yeah. Exactly.
Don't ever go below 10% and stand your ground. And the truth is that you see that people will pay you. They will pay you that money.
There's something there's something I was going
Yeah.
to say when you were saying something around the kind of like the way you start with the client is the way they will go. I think late last
You
year
did
I
that
had
way.
to
Yeah.
like drop some clients. Why? Because of the way I started.
Yeah.
And one of those things that you will learn is
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
like they will keep referring you, but they will keep referring people that
Yeah.
pays within that range as well. Like, oh, yeah, this is how much he did it when I wanted to do it, so it should be around that range when you want
Yeah.
to negotiate. At the end of the day, whoever it is they are negotiating with is also their friend or they are close to that person. So, and they want a quality work, so they are going to refer them to you that, oh, I know somebody that is going to deliver this thing, but this is the amount he's going to charge, right? And by the time the person comes, oh, I'm from this
Yeah.
person, you want to use influence and all of those things. So it's like a cycle. Like they'll just keep bringing people that person also. When if you do that one as well, that person would also bring another person that's going to come with that same view.
Yeah.
One of the things I've noticed is after I changed, like I just did like complete overhauling. Like I just said, oh, I'm not available, I'm not taking this project, I'm not doing that. So even if it's just one project, right? I know that one project is enough to like compensate. And one thing I've noticed is that the clients that don't necessarily negotiate are the ones that they are easy to work with, right? You see those ones that used to negotiate. By the time you
Yes.
start working, they are the ones that want to ensure that, oh, Shebi, you said you will do this one. You did not do it. Shebi, you said you will add this one. You did not add it. Okay, we need to do this one now. This thing is not coming out nice. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like most of the times, it's because they don't know what they want, and they will come to you with that stress to say, oh, he's not looking the way I was thinking it. What do you mean? So like, bro, you get. So I've learned that if you really want to reduce your stress, you need to like negotiate with people that are also like equally intellectual, like at that intellectual level of understanding. They know that when you call the price for something, you know what you are saying because you also have the track record. They could see that, oh, you have the experience and all of that, or probably they've seen the work you've done before, and they're able to judge from there that, oh, whoever is able to do this kind of work should be able to deliver at this level. Those kind of people will not stress you. They will just want to ask that, can you deliver? I mean, once they know that, okay, this person can deliver, they will pay you. like it is straight to the point. 1 plus 1 equals to 2. That's what they're expecting. Not 1 plus 1 equals to 11. You get.
Yeah.
So they are very straightforward, and I can tell you for free that since I've started
Yeah.
working with selected people, like my life has been better generally in terms of mentality, because you are not mentally stressed. You can sit down comfortably to say that okay, this is what I'm working on for this weekend, and you put your full mind to it. You know that the person you are working with also understands the part. Like it's not even all this client that you be explaining rationale for, and they don't really care about rationale. like, like I've done brand identity, full brand identity, where I explain the rationale and everything. At the end of the day, the person is just like, the logo looks nice, the logo looks nice, the logo looks nice, but there's a story behind it. They do not care
Yeah.
about the story, bro.
Yeah.
So you need to select your client so that you not just do. So that kind of person, you could have just gone online, also look for a really fancy and nice logo without any
Yeah.
strong
I mean,
rationale, and
beautiful.
that person will be happy.
All the
Yeah.
best people can do is if they
Yeah.
see that, oh yeah, someone wants to learn, they can be like, oh, I think this course will be good for you to go and watch. Or you have to determine and decide to go and watch the course.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Before you can actually get that thing that you need. Because I remember, how did I meet Ayosola? I met Ayosola from Lexi, right? I met Ayosola from Lexi.
That's exactly.
I knew Lexane from my friend Emmanuel, right? Because he went to Orange Academy at that time.
Okay.
Lexane was a teacher then, back then. I knew Joshua Rebele from my friend Emmanuel, because he too taught at Orange Academy. So you see how the connection, how everything is going. So from Emmanuel, I knew Lexane, I knew Joshua. Right, and then I went for his there's this thing they call it, not convocation, like their graduation, right? That they did at Sheraton then. That was when I met Josh physically. You get. And this my friend was the one that referred me to Josh when he was looking for another director back then in Isoba. But then before that time, because me, I wanted to go to those schools, go to academy already, but me, I didn't have the money. I didn't have the money for this. Yes, I didn't have the money. But then what did I do? I used YouTube as my own university. That you see me and this, we die here. I'll be watching YouTube like I'm watching seasonal movie. I will learn. I will learn. I will look for photo manipulation, look for this, look for people like Nehemiah Circulate, people like Pixel Perfect, people, all these guys. Like you watch them to the point that if anybody say, "Oh, I'm watching this video," you know what they did. You get personal development, and now I got to know that Lexen was doing Think Like a Designer. I was part of the people that were in the first cohort of Think Like a Designer.
You know the video,
but before Think Like a Designer, he organized some events whereby that day he called Ayosola to come. Ayosola, I think I was asking for the event, and after the event, I met with Ayosola. First time, real life, I met with him because I think I had been following him online before then. I met with him, we got to have a conversation, and then from there, to other things, following him closely online, interacting with this and that. And one thing that I appreciate till tomorrow, right, is there was a time they were doing Value the Craft. I think like seeing also that movement, Value the Craft. On that call, I was talking that day. One man asked a question that why is it that when we ask you a question, when we DM you on LinkedIn or this thing, you guys don't reply? You understand? And he was letting the man know that the truth is, it's not like we don't reply to you, but you cannot just send me hello, how are you, or I expect me to reply. He then called me. He said, Toby is on this call. I know Toby, right? And the truth is, he used me as a reference because whenever I message him, I'm not messaging to say, how's your day going? Yeah, I know. I want to make it go well. But my own is, there's this particular problem I'm facing in this industry. Or how can I transition from this to this? I see you have done it. But please, can you explain to me how?
Exactly.
Still seeking knowledge, still developing myself, but this time around with someone that I know that has done this thing. So
Exactly.
we can never
Yeah.
overemphasize the thing of personal
Exactly.
growth, personal learning, increase yourself,
Mm-hmm.
increase your value. It was like saying that made me know that as an art director, for you to open your mouth,
Exactly.
wow, I say I'm an art director. You have to understand design, you have to understand motion design, you have
Yeah.
to understand
Yeah.
video editing, you have to understand color, you have to understand typography. Because when people say I'm an art director and I'm speaking with you, and I'm seeing your work, in my mind I'm still
Yeah.
like, you're a graphic designer,
Yeah.
but you will
Yeah.
grow, right? So you need to
Yeah.
really understand how personal development, building yourself up,
Yeah.
has really
Yeah.
helped you. Just
Are you
just
whining
share
me?
an instance where
Exactly.
building yourself up
Exactly.
personally has
Exactly.
really helped. Because to me, it helped me get a
Some
job
of
in
all those.
advertising. When
Yeah.
just saw
Yeah.
my work, it was like, oh, it's really good. All those
Yeah.
things are personal work. Their work
Yeah.
that I will see on YouTube, I will do
Yeah.
it. Do it in my own way
Yeah.
and put it there. For them to now see that you can do this, and then they
Yeah.
now give it to you.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, well, when I joined the agency, when I entered into advertising, I didn't enter as an art director, right? Of course, I entered as just a graphic designer,
Yeah,
and it was that crazy because as at that time I wasn't even using all
yeah,
the Adobe tools like Photoshop, Illustrator, After Effects, all those InDesign and stuff. Like I wasn't using all those stuff. I think I know a little bit of Photoshop for maybe photo manipulation, but then as at that time I used CorelDRAW. Like, like I use
yeah,
CorelDRAW and I'm like, okay, yes, I can do like logo, all those vector, this thing.
yeah,
Can do it with CorelDRAW. But I noticed that in the industry, like, bro, you
yeah,
have to be using all those Adobe packages and all. So I started learning, and I remember the conversation I had with TJ. That's my boss. He didn't hire me as at that time because I knew how to do everything he needed. He just saw that, oh, this guy, like, he takes a lot of courses. He has the potential to learn. I had that potential, and trust me, I feel like it is that potential that
yeah,
actually got me to where I am right now, right? Because over the
yeah.
time I joined, I've learned all the Adobe suits. I mean, the one that is
Um,
relevant to my skill.
uh-uh.
I learned After
I talk
Effects,
of
I learned
that
Premiere
into
Pro,
tech.
I learned Photoshop, I learned Illustrator, I learned InDesign. I didn't just stop there. I learned Figma, I learned Framer, I learned
Yeah,
Webflow, I learned all these collaboration tools, bro. Of course, all those ones you get.
mm,
I mean, after that time, the only thing I just had was the enthusiasm to learn, right? And I could remember that time. Anytime me and Ayoshola, God, I frustrated that guy. Anytime me and Ayoshola are working on a project, for instance, maybe he
you be
sends
like
me a
BS.
design in Photoshop because I don't know how to use Photoshop. I'll take that design and go and replicate it on CorelDRAW. But there will be some time where we need to collaborate. Be like, okay, yeah, send me the PSD. Let me just make some touches. Bro, I don't do this for Photoshop. God. So I be like, what is going on here? Like, what is all this, guy? So all those times I frustrated him because of me. I
Yeah,
think he went to download CorelDRAW. That okay, checking shaking it so that the
yeah,
project can go. But I knew that if I really want to grow in this industry, like I cannot just afford to be frustrating people that want to help me.
yeah,
Then, bro, I just started learning
yeah,
like series of tutorials. It's like the day I decided that okay, I'm not going to use CorelDRAW again. I just uninstalled
yeah,
it. I said that if I don't know how to use this Illustrator, I'm not doing anything again. You don't understand. So I had to take that bold step to say that, guy, I need to learn this
yeah,
thing by my survival depends on it. So I started watching tutorials, took a lot of courses on Coursera.
yeah,
You know, first understanding the principle of design. That's
yeah,
where you come in as a designer. Understanding the principle of design. So far, so good. Let me just talk about like my relevance to some
yeah,
of the things I've done in the agency right now. Of course, design. I entered as a graphic designer. Then Ayoshola made me
yeah,
learn copywriting
yeah,
and all those content writing. When you join all these
yeah,
commercial this thing where I had to write scripts, bro, like it was so stressful, but then it was part of the development. You have to come up with different scripts. You have to make the script make sense, describe the visual, describe the scenes, create your storyboard, all those stuff.
yeah,
Guy, so I was going through all those learning phases. I was able to contribute intellectually in that
yeah,
regard. Then I started learning video editing as well.
Yeah.
That was when I started learning motion
Yeah.
design, using After Effects, making sure that okay, I'm moving shapes,
Yeah.
making sure that some things finesse, all those things, yeah, following the beat of a sound. All those things you have to learn them. So I started learning them. I wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily learning them because I wanted to be an art director, right? I was learning them because
Yeah.
I need to contribute intellectually in any room I'm entering. And that's one of those things I learned from Ayeshola. Ayeshola can do almost everything:
Yeah.
graphics, motion, video, copywriting, content creation, like anything, bro. That guy is like a one man mopole. Do you understand? And those are some of the things that motivated me into saying that
Yeah.
guy, not necessarily to become like him, but also to be able to offer value the way he's offering value, where I'm able to like get into a room and they say, oh, we need to do something on the video, and I'm able to do it, or we need to just run one or two motion design on this still graphics. I'm able to do that. Or when we say we need to come up with copy, I'm able to also come up with the copy. So I started learning a lot of things. Then I noticed that I also pivoted into UI UX as well, where I'm able to like build a lot of apps, in the industry and outside the industry as well, right? Then I found out that one of like my latest development is, so last year I worked with some developers on some websites, some of our clients' websites. I did the UI,
Yeah.
of course, on Figma. I did all of that. Then the developers
Yeah.
came in, we collaborated, we did everything. Then at some point, we now had to do a WordPress website. I'm like, okay, WordPress. I've not really like taken this WordPress thing seriously. Then we did like 3 different websites using WordPress, and we got WordPress developers in. They came in. I did the UI. Then they came in. They did all those
Yeah.
stuffs.
You want
You will not believe that right now
as
as we speak, I've learned WordPress. Like I've learned what I went to learn WordPress because
Yeah.
it's not really because I really wanted to be a WordPress developer, right? But because I got curious at some point that like what are these guys even doing? Say, should be they said this thing is no code. Okay, I have a little bit of experience with HTML, Bootstrap, and CSS, right? So that means I can also learn this thing and do almost now. So I carry WordPress.
Yeah.
So like as we speak like this now, I can tell you for free that I have like projects that I'm the one
Yeah.
doing the WordPress development. Do you understand what I'm saying? So all those things is just an hunger to say you want to develop personally. I could just sit down and say that, see, I'm not learning anything. I don't sabi all these things, so I won't sabi as an art director. But bro,
Yeah.
like learning all these things, knowing
Yeah.
how to be relevant in all these fields, that when a project is coming into the industry or the company that you're
Yes.
working, they know that okay, there's somebody that can be on the team. You don't even have to be the best, but you just have to be relevant. And being relevant does not mean that you have to be the best on the team. You just have to make sure that you can solve problems, right? And it's an hunger. And that's what now confirms when the last time I think last year when they gave me an award, that
Yeah.
okay, somebody you are reliable and stuff, right? My boss was telling me that what he saw when he hired me is what I'm living at the moment, right? He saw a potential that of somebody that wants to
Yeah.
learn. And so far so good. Like I've really learned
Yeah.
and I'm able to like contribute. So as at that time, I think he was right by hiring me because he said that when he hired, that I wasn't even like the best on the team, but I was the best with the potential like to learn and so far so good. I've been productive with my learning, having
Yeah.
to learn UI UX, learn motion, learn video, learn all those things, and now WordPress. Only God knows what I'll be learning
Yeah.
in the next 6 months, bro. You get like that's just the
Yeah.
spirit. So that because at the end of the day, it's not even just relevant for the company that you're working with, it's for personal development.
Yeah.
Now I'm taking gigs outside, like I'm taking UI UX work outside the company, I'm taking web development outside the company, brand identity, all those stuff that you're doing is for your own good at the end of the day. Like, let's say it's even the company that is even prioritizing me that, guy, you need to be able to do this. At the end of the day, it's not as if the company is trying to use you, right?
Yes.
You are like learning all these skills for yourself because let's say, okay, you're no longer working with the agency or you're no longer working with the company. You can still
Yeah.
stand alone to say
Yeah.
that these are the things that you can bring to the table as value. You get what I'm saying? So it's really important, and I think the most important part of it all is just to stay hungry.
Nothing will work.
Like Ayoshola would always say, guy, you have to be hungry. Like if you are not hungry, you cannot learn anything. If you are not hungry for
Yeah.
something, if you like watch all the YouTube videos in this life, you will not learn shishi. You will just have to keep rewatching. But you
Yeah.
need to develop an hunger
Yeah.
somewhere that, oh my guy, I guys
Yeah.
learn this thing. Oh my god,
I think
sabi this thing.
I decided that, you
Yeah.
know what, I'm going to join my church production team in church. I mean,
Yeah,
church is the place where you will learn for free.
yeah, yeah,
You will not pay anything, right? You get.
yeah,
And then,
yeah. Of
no,
course.
I started working with camera, handling camera,
Team.
staying behind the camera, carrying camera to roam. Different
Exactly.
shots. Even my
Of
team
course.
lead sent me a video
I swear.
on YouTube.
Good.
Talking about different shots, different framing. To the point that when I watch a movie now, I
Yeah.
can watch a movie and I'll be like, oh, this is a 2 shot close up. This is a dirty single. This is
Yeah,
a wide shot. This is me. I'm saying it in my mind. If I say it out loud,
yeah,
I can be like, "What's this one talking about?" But because I've learnt it, I've seen that thing,
Yeah.
and like you said, the younger
Yeah.
do it. So when I'm carrying camera, when I'm roaming, oh, okay, you know what? I'm
Yeah.
doing POV shots, showing the person,
you might not be able to
focusing on that
relate.
person, but you can see someone in the like a dirty single. Oh, let me give a 2
Yeah,
frame shot
yeah.
on people.
Yeah,
When people see it, this thing, people, and the truth is, people online will see the shots and they'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, we like it. But the person behind the camera has
Yeah.
knowledge of, okay,
Yeah.
so this is what I want to do. This is what I want the audience to see for this thing to be engaging, not just carry camera and just, So
course.
I joined that
Of
that department
behind the
to
camera,
actually
bro.
know how to do this thing. And other things that I'm doing
Exactly.
too, like definitely
Exactly.
even me currently, I have things I'm working on, and what I'm focusing on is
Exactly.
motion design, explainer videos, telling short animated stories.
Exactly.
And see, this thing, like you said, it is hunger because what to make me think, okay, first, let me first come up with a script. I'll carry the script, I will sketch the script. After sketching, I will do animatic. After animatic, I will do illustration. After
Exactly.
illustration, I will go and animate. You see the process? Like the process is long. It is very long. Yes, but me, I'm like, this thing, we know it's pa. At the end of the day, when you start working in this regard, because it's
long
actually
enough
production,
to treat
and
you.
we know how much it is to actually do a production. When you start making the
Exactly.
money and you know it, you
Exactly.
will forget all the
Exactly.
nights that you are toiling and learning. And you doing it constantly will make you faster,
Yeah.
and you will just whatever
Yeah.
script they give you. Okay, I have an idea. We can start with this shot. We can start with this shot, and just keep going. And when you keep developing yourself like that, everything is going to be great. And one more thing that I would say is people always want to work with somebody that is good and successful. Once they see that you are good, they will always want to work with you. They will always want to carry you from where you are, come and work with their agency. They always want to give you a project because they rely on you. They know that you deliver, and they know that you will do a good job. And once you have these 3 qualities and speed, and when you are fast,
I agree.
just forget it. You are the one that begging people that I beg. No, na limit.
Yeah.
I beg. You get, so
I agree.
all these things, I mean, seriously.
Well, so what I'm going to say to that is that you need to define like a personal roadmap for yourself, right? Say, you're giving yourself timeline, like, in the next 10 years, these are the things I want to achieve, right? Where do I want to be? Like, if you want to be in the creative industry to become a businessman, right? Or maybe you want to start your own agency, or you need to be able to give yourself the timeline of, I want to have gathered like maybe 5 years working experience or 10 years working experience. Or if it's for the fun of it, like, if you want your fun to also like reward you financially and all of that, you're like, I want to create nice stuff. I want to create things that people will see and it will evoke a certain feeling of satisfaction, and you just create that for the love of passion, and then your passion is rewarding you, right? That's another phase. Then another thing is also to create impact, which is like the big deal for me. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think design is necessarily like my passion. It's just to solve problems. Like, I want to solve communication problem. whatever
Yeah.
medium it will take me, if it is to do video, if it is to do motion, if it is to do design, I just want to solve communication problem. That's
Yeah.
where advertising comes into play, right? I want to be able to
Yeah.
sell an idea for people, right? When you go checking billboard, or maybe you saw a poster, or you are watching a TV commercial, there is a communication to you, and that communication should be able to influence your do something to you. Like, it should be able to
Yeah.
influence your decision at the end of the day. So whatever medium I'm using, and I think that's even what is fueling my own hunger to learn some of all these skills.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to do
Yeah.
video that would influence people's decision. I want to be able to do graphics, creative flyers that would also like
Yeah.
spark curiosity and say, Omo, it's true, let me do this
Yes,
thing.
that's it.
You understand? So that's like what is fueling me, and I think the creative industry is going to be worth it if
Yeah.
you're able to like personalize what it means to you. If it is to make money, then if you are not making money, you are wasting your time in the creative industry. If it is to create impact, if you are not creating impact, then you are wasting your time. If it is to start a business and you've not
Yeah.
really gotten the nitty-gritty of business and entrepreneurship in that space, you are wasting your
see, I won't like
time,
answer this
right?
thing
So you
well,
just need
man.
to
Seriously.
define it on a
Answer
personal
this
level that
well.
okay, this is what it's worth to you. Then if you're able to tick that box,
Seriously.
or you
And
can see that you're making progress
Also,
in that
thank
regard,
you.
then
thank
it's
you
worth it
for
at the end
taking
of
out
the
your
day.
time to be here today, to have this conversation. And definitely, guys, we're going to have more of this. I'm going to bring more people, to talk about different things. And one of the reasons why we are doing this, right, is because we want to share knowledge. We want to help you in the industry. You that are just coming in, you that are in the industry, we want to help you grow, help you understand how things are. Not just the facade of, you're a creative person, you do dreads, you wear clothes, you buy sneakers. Not just that facade, because you can have all those things and you will see that after 20 years, you don't want to just have awards on your this thing and it's just packing dust and your account too is packing dust. Because you don't you don't want that, right? You want to know how to go about doing things, how to build a successful career for yourself, whereby 30, 20 years you look back and you're like, I thank God I worked in this industry, and I thank God I met the people I met.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for joining.
It's really been nice to have this conversation with you as well. Like, I want to see more of this on your platform. I mean, by the time we do enough of this, like, people will be informed, and that also just aligns with my own personal goal of creating impact with whatever it is I'm doing. I think apart from design and all those sort of stuff I'm doing, this conversation again still like contributes towards that cause of wanting to create impact and let people know that okay, like this particular podcast now, for instance, has been able to solve that problem of communication.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Toby. It's good to be here.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Cheers.